Joining me now is Mike Pompeo, former Secretary of State and Fox News contributor. Mr. Secretary, we're minutes away from the president's remarks. Now, beyond the support for Israel, which a majority of Americans thankfully support, what should he include tonight that might not be in there to rally a nation that's actually pretty divided on other issues?
Well, Laura, I hope this evening he'll be candid about what caused this. How it is the case that in 2.5 years we're now got two major conflagrations, one in the Middle East, one in Europe, and frankly the Chinese Communist Party rattling its saber as well. He should articulate to the American people how that happened on his watch and how it's the case he's going to deter these adversaries. That would be really important because it would give the American people and frankly our friends and allies around the world the confidence to be friends, partners with the United States of America. You know, Laura, I hope too that he'll address the fact that Iran killed 30 Americans. We all are just horrified the fact there are 1,300 Israelis killed, but we shouldn't forget that just days after the United States gave $6 billion in ransom to the Iranians, there are now twice as many hostages as there were the day we gave them the $6 billion. We'll explain to the American people his theory of American leadership, American power, and how it is he's going to turn what has proven to be a disastrous set of foreign policies in his first 2.5 years. That would bring America together.
Well, what does victory look like when the Biden administration has made a really concerted effort not to reach out to conservatives or traditional Americans, 74 million voted for Trump, but to really villainize them on a number of issues? Like, I mean, how do you go to them and say, you people, a bunch of rotten, awful, terrible people, you need to, open up your wallets again? Yeah,
it's a hot mess. It's very, very difficult for him to do when he continues to call good conservatives, decent Americans, MAGA extremists, or whatever the language of the day is that some pollster has told them to use. I agree. That is incredibly difficult in a time of global crisis. You should be using language that unites, not divides the United States. And President Biden has just no ability to do that. I hope too, Laura, I hope he'll do more than just give emotional support to the Israelis tonight. I hope he will say, nope, I've made a mistake. I'm not going to give $100 million to Hamas, to the terrorists, while they're holding Americans. I'm not going to talk about the fact that, boy, Israel really needs to comply with the law of war. They will, Laura. He hasn't asked Hamas to do that. He only asked the Israelis to do that. I hope tonight he will give full-throated support and all the space that Prime Minister Netanyahu and his military leadership need to do the necessary to keep their own nation safe. And then I hope he'll spend some time talking about how he's going to defend America. And that certainly includes some money, resources, time, attention, and thought to how it is we're going to stop this flood of illegal immigration along our southern border as well.
Now, I mean, how many terrorists have we allowed in? We're probably getting some type of financial assistance right now in the United States. So, I mean, I feel for all these people, especially the children who've been left homeless or orphaned or targeted, killed. I mean, the words don't describe what they've been through. But at some point, they've got to take care of business here at home. There are a lot of people here hurting in the United States.
Amen. That's true. And Laura, you know this. We've done this in America before. President Reagan did it. We did it in the Trump administration. You can actually do both of those. You can deter our adversaries and take care of the American people home. And we can do these things at the same time. Indeed, Laura, they're deeply connected. When we do good things here at home, when we protect our southern border, when we work on behalf of the American people, others around the world can see that, and they will see that America is strong and capable, and they will want to befriend us, not attack us and kill our people, whether they happen to be in Israel or someplace else across the world, an embassy that you can see under threat all across Muslim nations, even as we sit here tonight.
Yeah, none of this happened when you were Secretary of State and President Trump was in office. Mr. Secretary, the State Department was asked about that concern about the $100 million in humanitarian aid to Gaza. Watch.
The concern the Israeli government has is that any assistance that goes in will be diverted once it's inside Gaza. Hamas may try to divert this assistance and keep it from getting to the civilians who it is intended for. We think that's a legitimate concern. We've made clear that this aid needs to go to innocent civilians and not Hamas. We're going to be watching very carefully how it's delivered.
Watching very carefully. Does that inspire a lot of confidence and accountability, sir?
First of all, they won't be watching it. Second, they're delivering this to Hamas. That will be the recipient. They will hand over this assistance to Hamas, the governing authority in the Gaza Strip. They're not even designated terrorists by the agency that will deliver to them. The UN will move this stuff, And the UN doesn't consider Hamas a terrorist. They consider them a government in good standing. No, this isn't decent. This will not go to feed and take care of the innocent civilians in Gaza. This will go to the terrorists, just like the $60 billion that has been given to the Iranian regime in just 2.5 years by this administration. It didn't go to make life better for young women who just wanted to live their lives in Iran. It went to foment and aid the very terror that the world is suffering today.
Again, we were prosperous and we had peace during the Trump administration. Now, chaos is breaking out all over the place. Mr. Secretary, thank you. That's it for us tonight.